greetings to you from wherever you're watching us. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, tonight on the show, we will be talking about the Women's African Cup of Nations, and of course, Mission X has started the campaign to win the 10th title at the Women's African Cup of Nations. Has started for the Super Falcons. We'll be talking about that as we move on the show. We will also take a look at the FIFA Club World Cup. As a matter of fact, as we speak, semi-final currently going on. Chelsea and Fluminense currently battling it out. We'll talk about all of that. We'll also give you things happening on the domestic scene. The Nigeria National League Super 8 will also get us talking. So that's the outlook of the show for tonight. As you already know, it's a two-man show. My colleague, Austin Okonakwan, is suited and ready as we go along on this ride.
Sporting greetings to Yemi and, of course, our viewers from all over the world. It's always an action-packed world of sports. Action at the FIFA Club World Cup is Chelsea 1, Fluminense 0, half-time. Pedro with the goal in the 18th minute. Can Chelsea go all the way? Surprise, surprise. Since Chelsea might just be making it to the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. Already, there's good money in the bank. The Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Mission X, finally activated for the Super Falcons. Can they go all the way, create record, win an unbelievable 10th title, Yemi, in Africa? But you see, it's looking blurry with all of the talks as regards unpaid allowances, wages, bonuses. And I said, look, the NFF, you created this problem, solve it before it, destroys this dream of winning a record-breaking 10th title at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Yemi.
Yeah, all right. We hope that the ugly monster will not raise his head at a global stage. Again, of course, we cannot forget some of the things that have happened in the past. Hopefully, the headlines will not be about some of those ugly stories. It will be about the girls on the field. Let's quickly introduce our guest with us in the Lagos studio. Kehinde Idris joins us tonight on the show. Kehinde Idris, thank you for joining us on the show. And of course, I want to quickly get your thoughts on Mission X.
Yeah, good to be here. Good evening to Austin and also our esteemed viewer. Chelsea, I think their story will be a very one of a surprise run, but I think Chelsea has always done that. They could be very dogged. Well, let's talk about Mission X. The WAFCON has started on Saturday, and then the Super Falcons played on Sunday. Fantastic result, but not a fantastic game from my point of view. I feel there was no fluidity, there was no cohesion, there was no synergy, properly like I want to see. Tunisia is not one of those teams I feel could, muscle a whole lot, with the Super Falcons. I saw other games. I saw South Africa, Ghana. I saw the Senegalese play. I saw Morocco versus Zambia. I'm seeing teams who are playing football like they are so together. And I think maybe this is where I'll start to judge the Super Falcons if they play teams like this. But in a competition like this, your start does matter. 3-0 to the good in the first game. Botswana is already sweating because you're looking at Tunisia has been beaten by these queens. And then you have your work, cut out. Then you're also in a good stead. 3 points in the bag. Win the next game, and you're thinking of the knockout round.
Okay.
Super Falcons have put themselves in a good place. But super questions to be asked of our coaches at the WAFCON in recent time. I think that same question couldn't be properly answered by Thomas Deneby, then Randy Waldrum, and I think I'm seeing a bit of, Justin Madugu.
Right.
But maybe it's too early. I'll wait for the second game.
Let me allow Austin. We're hoping to have a robust conversation tonight on the show, but let me go to Austin. After him, we're probably going to take some reactions. But first, your takes. Some will say the quality of the opposition sometimes may affect how you play, but we all agree that it's good to have 3 points.
It's good, particularly your first game, Yemi, not just 3 points, a dominant display. Quality of opposition. I thought Tunisia, they set up properly. But the Super Falcons contained them so well. And if you check, I think it was not until about the 79th, 80th minute that the Tunisians, tested Chiamaka and Nadozie. VAR even made a call and then found out that, there was a foul before that move. But Nadozie even dealt with the threat. And I think extra time also, they had one chance. But that was a dominant Super Falcons, performance. Yes, I want to agree with Kehinde Idris that we're waiting for opponents such as Morocco, Zambia. But hey, women's football is so fluid. It's unpredictable. We might just be so shocked because I would have expected Morocco to do something in that game against Zambia, but they had to come back twice. Familiar foes, because remember, they both played themselves. I think for the World Cup qualifiers, Morocco went to Zambia to win. Zambia went to Morocco to win. So they kind of know themselves. Quality of opposition, yes. They won't play South Africa, but I watched South Africa and Ghana. I can also say they weren't that dominant, Let's wait and see what the Super Falcons can do against Botswana. But I listened to Coach Justin Madugu, and he said, look, it's the start of the competition. And so your opponents are still watching you, and you're also careful not to make mistakes. And he said something about his team not being flattered with the results. I think that's the sort of mentality that is important for them to take into the next game. But you know what? Let's listen to Coach Justin Madugu and defender Ashley Plumpton. When we get back, hopefully, Cecilia Omogwe will be ready for us. She's right there in Casablanca. We'll talk everything Super Falcons and the WAFCON. Stay with us.
Well, it's a good one. We're starting on a good note, and it is our expectation that with every game we'll get better. We knew it was not just going to be as easy as we were thinking, because first matches, sometimes there are a lot of factors come into play, and you don't get the best of your team. But as the game progresses, the competition progresses, you play more games, certainly having corrected a lot of errors that you might see in the previous games, it is our expectation that the team will always get better.
Yeah, I think we're all happy with the result first and foremost, because to get a win and a clean sheet is always good going into the tournament. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on us, as we expect, but to be able to perform the way we did and get all the chances on goal was good. And Tunisia came out, they were very aggressive. Obviously, it was hard because there was a couple fouls for and against us, but we are just happy that we came out with a win.
All right, she's happy. Nigeria came out with a win. We're all happy here. All right, also in reference, Chiamaka Nadozie, the goalkeeper, was on holiday throughout, basically. And it showed in what she had to say after the game. Let's listen to Nigeria's goalkeeper and, of course, one of the players share their thoughts on the game. Of course, the opening game they won.
I feel so good. It was a good one. It was a good beginning for us. Tunisia, they are not a bad side. We respect them so much, and as you can see, they played a very good game. Just that today was for us, and we hope to continue like this. Yeah, there was no much to do behind, but yeah, it's always good to stay concentrated because you never know what will happen. Yeah. There are so many good teams in this AFCON, and we don't know for now. We just have to take one game per game. We don't need to rush. We don't need to think ahead. So we focus on our next game. But I hope if we continue like this, we played a very good game today. And if we continue like this, yeah, hopefully the Mission X will be valid. Yeah, to be honest with you, they were good. They kept the ball. They were confident. They have good wingers. And yeah, they're a very good team. I think in the nearest future, they'll be competing in the highest level.
Yeah. Tribute for Diogo Jota, the one that died, and for his brother. So yeah, it was a signature celebration of his, and yeah, I just wanted to contribute and do something for him. He was one of my favourite players at Liverpool when I was there as well. Well, The most important thing was to get the win, and I feel like we got that. We know that we need to be better in front of goal in general. And yeah, we're just going to go back in the training field and work harder to be more ruthless. But yeah, as I said, first game is the most important one, and yeah, we got that out of the way and we got the win. So yeah, just to be more ruthless, be more deliberate in terms of like what we're doing in the final third. I feel like defensively we were good. We kept the ball better as well as the game came on. So yeah, it's just nothing but positives really.
All right, Chiamaka Nadozie and Omori Salah, Babajide there sharing their thoughts. All right, let's take you to Casablanca now. Our own Cecilia Morogwe is right there at the center where everything is happening, and she's with us to give us a feel of what is happening in Morocco. Cecilia, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Hemi. Good evening, Austin. Good to be here again.
All right. We're happy. A lot of people are happy with the victory of the Super Falcons. And, you know, we always brag about Nigerians being everywhere. So let me start out by asking, how did Nigerians out there celebrate? And what's the presence of the Nigerian fans out there in Casablanca?
Yeah, it was really very few. You know, usually you have the supporters club. I hope they're still coming because I know that some people have visa issues and everything. Even half of the journalists that applied today here, I think about 7 journalists are here so far. So the others are still trying to get in visa issues and everything. Just maybe as the game progresses, I'm sure maybe the supporters club will come. But they were not really here. But the Nigerians in Casablanca, most of them showed up, you know, to actually support the Super Falcons. And 2 of the journalists I know so well that were at the media stand had to remove their tag and go join the supporters stand to actually add, you know, bites to everything that was happening. It wasn't much, but they got the support they needed. The fans are not coming into the stadium as expected, but we know it's just beginning of the tournament. So, and knowing that tickets just started selling a week before the tournament, and if you want to get into Casablanca, you don't even know if there's anything like a tournament going on. So you don't have that publicity is really not there. So I'm sure that's the reason, you know, most fans are not coming to the stadium. Maybe as the game progresses, you have more fans. Overall, that victory against Tunisia was more like telling everyone the Super Falcons are here to play. And of course, the dominant displayers. There were not so many goals. Some people complain about no cohesion, which actually it wasn't so much compared to when we watched their game against Portugal. We didn't see that at all. But against Tunisia, that cohesion is actually coming in. Knowing that Sifat Ashola, for instance, played for the very first time with the team, you know, at a grand stage, literally speaking, since the Olympics. You know, she wasn't part of some of the friendlies they played, except the one against Ghana that was closed doors. Chiwendu, in his way, same thing, same person who also scored in the second half. She also hasn't been a part of the team until this tournament. So the girls are coming together. I'm sure as the game progresses, maybe that cohesion we're all looking for, we will see that. But overall, I think they're actually impressed with their performance. I mean, you know, Nigerians, what they want goes. No matter how you play, they just want to see the goals coming in.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to get back to you, Cecilia. I'm very sure Austin has a few questions. But the viewers are wondering, show us these results, show us the standings. Some of us are always very happy to show Nigeria on top of any standing. So let's go across now and let the viewers know that after game 1, the Super Falcons are on top. And just like Austin said, Mission X activated.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just go across now. And of course, the results in Group B, games played on Sunday. It's heartwarming to see Super Falcons of Nigeria hammering Tunisia. Whatever you want to say could have been more, should have been more. Hammered Tunisia 3-0. And of course, Algeria had a slim 1-0 victory over Botswana. And the part that makes me smile, I hope it's going to be like that after match day 3, is what you're going to see next. The standing, there you go, Group B standing, the teams you have, Nigeria, Algeria, Botswana, and Tunisia, the Super Falcons, 3 points, 3 goals. That's how to start a tournament. That's what you want to see. And the rest could fight for the scraps. We must say Algeria also has 3 points, having won their first game. Botswana, Tunisia didn't win, so they're in that position. Kehinde Idris, quickly, before I yield back to Austin, apart from the quality of play that you're not impressed with. You should be impressed with every other thing. Looking at the table, looking at the results, you can't do better than that.
Clean sheet. Clean sheet is one of those things big teams do, you know. You want to play games and not get to concede goals. It also scares opponents when they read up your stats. And one of the things that is a strong point is the fact that you either don't concede goals or you concede goals, you know, very lessly. So I think that's another point for the Super Falcons. No matter how rough they played on that day, no matter how good they played, one of the things is they didn't concede, and I think that should take them, you know, all the way. If they play Botswana and still do not concede, I think those are one of the things we should continue to discuss. So, Super Falcons, seeing them at the top, any day, anytime, if it's your team, it's a joy to watch.
All right. Next up for the Super Falcons, game on Thursday. Let's see what that's going to be. The Super Falcons on Thursday will be playing against Botswana, and of course Tunisia and Algeria, North African rivals, neighbors, will lock arms. But for the Super Falcons, where our hearts and mind will be, it's against Botswana. So we'll see what happens in that one as Mission X continue, and hopefully Mission X will not be aborted at any point. All right. I mean, I could hear Austin laugh when I talked about Nigeria being on top. And that's where we always want the team to be. Of course, we're expected not to be partial, but sometimes there's a joy talking about the team knowing that they're on top.
Yeah, you know, as I said, particularly with the first game, very, very important, particularly when you have launched Mission X. You know, everyone is talking about Nigeria. And I was the guy who was also reminding us that, look, the last WAFCON was an absolute disgrace, you know, for Super Falcon status. So let me go back to Cecilia. Cecilia, yes, I agree with the dominant display, but I'm sure you know you wanted more goals. The way they missed chances in that game, particularly when Austin actually missed that chance, I'm like, hey, no, that should be going in. Against Botswana, you think they're going to come out guns blazing, or they will play a bit of, you know, careful football?
Yeah, I think that careful football is going to be it, because the players are saying they want to take it one game at a time. They're not going to come all out, because as we all understand and know that the build-up to this WAFCON had not been the best. You've not had all the players together at the same time. And now here's the gist from the camp of the Super Falcons. Do you know that the hotel they actually stay, there is no gym for the players? So I think where they leave the hotel to actually go to a place for the gym session, I believe, because there is no gym in that hotel where they are. And then there is no swimming pool. It's just there. And I'm like, this is a continental tournament. And the person was actually saying that. And then you also have the fact that they'll have to drive more than an hour, you know, to a training session. They trained at 6 p.m. today. They have to drive more than 1 hour to that training where they're training. And then they train just once in a day. And then you're having other teams, like Morocco, for instance, we saw them training twice a day, morning and evening. But Super Falcons wanted that, but they couldn't get that. And then we have like 2 stadiums around inside town in Casablanca. So you don't actually need to go outskirts to go train. And then when I went to the training center today, there was nothing special. It was just a pitch. There was nothing else. So I thought it was because it's called Wellness Center. I felt there was something special why they have to drive all the way down. You go there, and then they start training at 6, then you have to come back to the hotel, and then tomorrow they're going back there again, and you're playing game on your Thursday. Those things which actually, it won't, because when we watch the players on against Tunisia, I mean, we're close to them. I'm like,
okay,
these guys look heavy. What's going on? So you look at some of these factors.
Cecilia, I might quickly need to interject.
In their performance, yeah.
I might quickly need to interject because we need to go on a break, as you already know. We need to go on a break right about now. The discussion is getting interesting, and we'll get back to the discussion. We need to go on a break right about now. Just to let our viewers know that on the DSTV platform, when we return from the break, you will be on to Inside the Niger Delta with Mahmoud Akuga. But on all the other platforms, you will be with us. We will be talking the WAFCON and every other thing happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. We'll go for that break now. Return for more Sports Tonight. All right, you will be forgiven if you think that it was only the Super Falcons that played. But of course, it wasn't only the Super Falcons that played. Other teams were in action as well. So I'll go across in a bit just to quickly take a look at the results, the standings. Then we'll get back to Austin and, of course, with Cecilia to quickly wrap up what we are discussing about the WAFCON. So let me just quickly go across and, of course, look at the matches played in other groups. Of course, the much talked about Banyana. A lot of people looking at that, and they've set the standard, and the team everybody's talking about, and they took out Ghana quite impressively. I must add, even though Ghana put in a lot of fight at the beginning, but at the end of the day, it was 2-0. Mali and Tanzania 1-0 in favor of Mali. Let's also look at the standing. All right, Group A, where I wanted us to go to fixtures in Group A: Zambia against Senegal, DR Congo against Morocco. Of course, you already know that these teams have already played one match. So let's see if we can quickly go back to this is Group A standing after one match. Senegal lead Morocco, Zambia, DR Congo. This looks like it's going to be a very tough group, if you ask me. Looks like Senegal. I don't know what they've done to their women's football, but those girls look sharp. A lot of the players from France, and So, can you do this quickly because we have to yield back to Austin and Cecilia to fill us in with some of the other angles. Austin made a comment about South Africa not as impressive as we expect them to be. But I felt, and that's why I'm a bit scared, they dealt with Ghana with all the effort, physicality that Ghana brought into that game. They dealt with them quite easily.
Yeah. For Bayana, just like Bafana, I think what they've done for their football is to be properly result-oriented. They are not out so many times to play the most clinical football, but they go into competitions looking for the kill, go for it, result-wise. They would hardly be one of those teams you say they outplayed a team and then they scored 4 goals, they scored 5 goals. They'll score you 1 goal, 2-1, 3-2. But they are so result-oriented. And that is what we saw in the last WAFCON with these Bayana girls. They just went on about their results. And they've started that way. Ghana put in a good fight. But it was like, just bring on your fight. We will get the results. They got the results.
Let me see if Austin agrees.
Also.
Yeah, I agree with you. But let me see if Austin does. I'm also a quick one. I know if we continue with the Super Falcons, we'll probably not finish whatever this show, and we'll still be talking about the Super Falcons. But you talked about South Africa, and I just quickly want to say this as we try to wrap up this conversation. I felt they dealt with the Ghanaians quite easily. The tackles were flying in. There was a lot of physicality, but the South Africans were not ruffled. And honestly, I'm yet to see that level of game management from our own team, which is a worrying signal for me.
I mean, every opponent is different. Every game is different. And if you listen to Coach Madugu, he reiterated that same point that I made, because it's the first game, you're still watching. The Ghanaians, yes, we know they will come out with that physicality. They know that on paper South Africa is better, so they will try to break them, and that's what they did. Did South Africa deal with it well? Oh yes, they did. But don't we know that we wanted more from South Africa with that game? Yes, I think we did, but the quality of the opposition, and look at Ghana and what they've done with their women's football. They started probably trying to chill with the big girls in the last 3 years, but because of the competition in West Africa, it's been hard for them. There's Nigeria, there's Cameroon, even Mali to an extent. It's a pretty decent women's team. So they're still trying to get there. But what I was trying to say with South Africa is, with all of the noise that we make about them, with the consistency, the stability, they are defending champions. You would have wanted a blowout result, And if you take it to our game against Tunisia and listen to what Chiamaka Nadozie said, she said they have good wingers. I agree. In their own way, they are fast too, and they were just waiting to catch the Super Falcons and see if they can break them on the counter or something. But the ladies from Nigeria contained them so well, didn't lose control of the game. And then when you score 2 goals in first half, particularly when Risola goal came, it was very important just before the break. And then Israel came in and then wrapped it up. It was a fine performance. Maybe when we see South Africa in their second or third group game and they give us this sort of, turnaround performance that we saw against Ghana, then I can start talking. But hey, still early days. Let's get Cecilia's final thoughts before we let her go. Cecilia, jump back on that conversation because Nigerians would have been listening to you and be saying, Cecilia, we don't want excuses. Gym or no gym and all of those things they're trying to say. But where would we put that function? Is it the NFF that dropped the ball or the LOC?
It's the CAF. I mean, it's CAF totally, whether LOC or not, because I know that this is a professional tournament. We're not talking about league football, right? I mean, they're still looking for sockets. You can't find anyone. You look at the stadium we played in. It's as if we're playing a local league. It doesn't look like a standard stadium. And you're asking, and you, as I mentioned earlier, around Casablanca, you have two other big stadiums right here. So why not use those stadiums for such games? So I really don't know what they're trying to do. Apparently, maybe there are some things they are putting up that we really don't understand. But you just feel that we can actually do better, really. I think CAF can do better when it comes to, whether CAF or LOC, they can do better when it comes to organizing and making players more comfortable. Because you don't expect these players are playing in professional leagues. They know what is obtainable out there. You can't expect someone to come from NWSL, WSL, the Spanish League, Mexico. I was talking to Chiwendu yesterday concerning fans now coming. She was like, what she's used to is fans coming to the stadium, no matter what is going on. But yes, let's leave fans aside. What happened to the basic things you need to put in place? You don't put players in a hotel and you're wondering if this is for players or just for some kids who are having it a hotspot or something like that. But I think they can actually do better in terms of that. Yes, it's just the group stage, but we're not looking for excuses. I was shocked by what I saw because I've covered WAFCON and I've seen both the World Cup and other tournaments, and I've seen the facilities, where players stay. It's better than what they're having this year. I think that's actually what, it was like a good shock to me, when I saw that actually. That's how it shows.
Let's hope continue to monitor it. Let's hope they improve because I've always been saying big ups to CAF for giving attention to women's football. Cecilia, in 1 minute, wrap this up for us as we let you go. What are you hearing in the game, Nigeria versus Botswana?
I think it's going to be another easy game for the players because right now they said they are settled, and not just settled. They're not looking at not dropping points at the group stage. They're looking at topping the group and going ahead to win the trophy. So that missionaries, according to them, is not just like a slogan. It's more like a mission, really. It's something they have to do. It's a call to duty, and that's what they intend to do.
Thanks so much, Cecilia, for your time. All the best. Look for sockets to, ensure that your phones are properly your devices. I don't hear stories on Thursday. Thank you for
Thank you.
All right, that's it. That's our colleague Cecilia Omar. We're right there in Casablanca. Kehinde Idris. Look, I don't know Confederation of African Football. You've unveiled a new trophy. You've increased the prize money. But look at the teething problems Cecilia talked about. That's a no-no.
Sometimes I try to understand issues from CAF's angle. See, what Cecilia pointed out about gym, swimming pool, trust me, they are very murky. They are not things you should come down on. These are proper professional players. It is the senior tournament. It is not the under-17 tournament or the under-20. It is the big girls who are in town, and they should do better.
All right.
But like we always say, it has started. We should take out, all of the noises and then, face everybody kind of look like they are facing the same thing. So make the best of it. Although I've also heard stories that some people are getting it better. Let me leave it there.
Please do. Let's leave it there. Before we go to the Super 8, NNL Super 8, that's our next port of call. But before we do, let's allow Austin, who is probably furiously refreshing his tab at this moment. Chelsea, Fluminense, what is going on? Let us in on that, and we'll also do that again towards the end of the show. So at this moment, let's be the eyes and the ears of our viewers who are probably not watching because they're listening to us and watching us. What is the situation?
Yeah, I mean, the game is now in its 69th minute. It's Fluminense 0, Chelsea 2. Who scored again? A brace for Yao Pedro. What a player it's turning out to be for Chelsea, and he's been substituted, replaced by Nicholas Jackson. But in the 56th minute, he doubled the lead for Chelsea. So it's like the Blues are going to cruise the way to an easy win and get into the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. Can you believe it?
All right. It's getting louder from Chelsea fans, even right here in the office. And so Enzo Maresca's mouth opened wide after João Pedro's first goal was a screamer. All right, let's talk about the NNL Super 8. I'll be going across in a bit to just talk about the NNL Super 8. But Kane Idris, don't laugh. The things we talked about, we're not going to say it here, but let's forget about the purpose and all of those things. We're going to look at day 3 fixtures. Your thoughts on the significance of this?
I just know from the Super 8, we would have 4 promoted teams, 2 from Southern.
That's the significance.
North, 2 from the North. They replace, the likes of Aqua United, Sunshine Lobby, and also Atlant. After that, firstly, this is the Super 8.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Match day 3 fixtures is what we want to talk about. So let me just quickly go across. I was going to allow Kane Idris to make me go to bed sad. So significance is all we need. Whether purpose is being defeated, I'll leave that to our viewers to decide. But here you have it, match day 3 fixtures. Of course, Thursday, Doma United. In Group A, Doma United up against Barao FC. Wiki Taurus will take on Yobe Desert Stars. These are our fixtures in Group A. Let's quickly go to Group B. Osun United against Kun Khalifat FC. Warri Wolves up against Crown FC. And of course, the opportunity to come up there is something these teams will want to take seriously. Group A standing, Yobe Desert Stars on top, Barao FC following, Wiki Tourist, and Doma United, teams from the northern region. Then, of course, in Group B, the standing for Group B, Osun United, Warri Wolves, Kum Khalifat, and Crown FC. All right, so it's going to be very interesting even as the days go by. But, of course, match day 3 is on Thursday. All right, so, well, I think it's only fair for Austin to say 18 or 2 on this before we go on to some of the other stories.
I mean, it's the Super 8, 4 teams will gain promotion, 4 will, stay back in the NNL, and I've always said it that for the NPFL to be better, the NNL must be good. You see? So administrators of football in Nigeria must understand that at this level, it's very important to, make some structural changes, make the football look beautiful. In England, this is the championship. And I mean, I've been to a championship game and I recorded, and I went to a Premier League game, did the same recording. I couldn't tell the difference because some way, somehow, the variables from the championship affect what happens in the Premier League. So sometimes we don't even get to hear about the NNL till it gets to the Super 8 and you get teams promoted. So I think what the NNL leadership needs to do, they must just find a way to put it out there, do a bit of PR, make it look good. And at the end of the day, the teams that get promoted, they come to the NPFL, let them keep it going. I like Doma United. I really wish them well. Now that there's no Aqua United, maybe I'm going to adopt Doma United, because I like what they do. So good to see Warri Wolves back in the league. Crown FC also. I like what Kun Khalifat also did. It was really competitive, but hey, it's just because we follow it. What about others who really want to follow it and there's no, proper structure in place for that to be done? So all the best to the 8 teams, and then we'll be here to, say congratulations to the 4 that will get promoted.
All right, we'll do just that. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. I don't know how to take this. It's a good news item, but of course, again, maybe we need more details. Super Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa has been appointed the Kano Pillars general manager, and it's good news. It's good news. We want to see our players, people who have seen things done at the highest level, get involved. There's Papilo Kanowanko with Eimba, Ahmed Musa here calling the shots. They've seen all of those things at the highest level. So it's good for them to get involved. Although I might need some clarity as to whether it will still be playing, as to whether he's still a member of the Super Eagles.
We've had the deputy governor play with
Is
with
it
a
going to
football
be
club, so.
a playing man? But you see, those are the things you need when you give out this information.
Yeah.
So that I don't come here and begin to speculate, so that it's going to be clear.
Exactly.
A lot of people see Ahmed Musa and still feel that he probably has 2 or 3 more years in him as a footballer at the highest level.
Yeah.
And this happens, is he going to stop playing? Is it going to be... I really don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a good one in terms of the appointment, in terms of bringing his wealth of experience to bear on Kano Pillars. It's a good one.
Yeah.
But again, maybe they need to help us and quickly answer some of this.
This is what we always say. Sometimes the administrators or these people who shell out this news put us in a very tight corner where there is a vacuum.
You give us something and we want more.
Yeah, because you need to give us a fuller information. We are dishing it out there. And, Yemi, you'll be surprised at the kind of questions, people out there can ask you. Questions that will turn your head. Because they feel I answer to all. So, bring in more info. But like what you said, very experienced, very exposed, at the highest level. In fact, he's played at levels that he was properly loved out there. So you understand what it means for a footballer to be loved and how you could help, his own footballers get there. Then another angle is the fact that he is loved in Kano Pillars. Maybe in Kano, you're well loved. In Kano Pillars setup, you're well loved. Maybe this is the time where some level of proper warfareism will come to the entire team.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I don't know if Austin shares some of our, I won't call it reservation because it's good news. But, maybe they should just help straighten us out.
Yeah, we always ask for more information. Yeah, and I would reach out to Ahmed Musa, a legend of the game, to just, get that clarity. But I think he still wants to play because I spoke to him when he was here for the Unity Cup, and he's still buzzing. He said, look, Austin, I'm just 32. Everyone is saying I'm old. No, I'm not. I only started football early. And I agree. I covered Ahmed Musa in Ijebu when he was 15, I think playing the Wafu B or something. Yeah. He actually started early and he has done well for himself. Now, the Kano State government, this is their own way of ensuring that it stays part of the setup, administer football, use his connection, and bring some professionalism into Kano Pillars. And it's a really good one, So that clarity is important. You're still going to play in the MPFA. I was even hoping it would be part of the CHAN. But when I reached out to my sources, it didn't have a permanent contract with Kano Pillars. And the CHAN rule says you must have a permanent contract with your club in your country to be part of the CHAN. So he had a temporary contract. I think it's the same thing with Shehu Abdullahi also. He was right there in that Ahmed Musa's first day in office. He has resumed office, Yemi. He's general manager. We need to know more, his job functions. We need to be open, transparent. That's how to brand, Now that you've got someone like Ahmed Musa who commands a lot of international, recognition and attention, brand the club in a way that now you can tie some commercial activities around it with his presence. So, yeah, I agree, guys. By tomorrow or let's say Thursday, we should get that clarity. Is it going to be a player administrator for the club? We've seen it. Rooney did it when he was, about to wrap up his football. I think at Derby County, he was part of the setup and also played at some point. I think Stephen G also did it. So people do it here in Europe. So come out, say what Ahmed Musa is doing with the team so we'll get to know Yemi.
All right. And as we prepare to wrap things up on the show, let's talk about the CHAN Eagles as they intensify preparations in Ikene. My worry is that if this tournament had been played at the time we expected it to be played, the bulk of the players that would have loved to see would be there, but probably not the same team. I stand to be corrected though. Probably not the same team because most of the guys that had qualified for this tournament probably would have gone out by now. So it makes the job of the coaches difficult. But we're not lacking in talent here, so shouldn't be a problem. But team cohesion probably will still be an issue.
I think the chance.
And of course, we have clarity on this one. Eric Shell definitely will be in charge.
Exactly. I think the chance should be a pointer to, as in our participation and result at CHAN competition, should be a pointer to the fact that there is problem at home.
Yeah.
These guys are super talented, but there is something about adding a whole lot to your football aside just the talent that makes you cross the line. Teams out there or countries out there who get to have teams who, win and do a whole lot of magical stuffs is because they have a proper league, not because they are more talented than the ones we have. Like you just alluded to, we don't lack talent here. There is sufficiency of them, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and we have to wrap things up on the show. Wish we could continue. All the best to the CHAN team, and hopefully they'll get results. So, also, we got to go. Let us in, Fluminense, Chelsea, and, of course, your parting shot.
It's still Fluminense 0, Chelsea 2. I told you the story. Yao Pinto with the brace has been substituted, replaced by Nicholas Jackson. Fantastic player. Pedro, couldn't even celebrate his second goal because it was, his former club, Fluminense, that scored again. So Chelsea, as it is, 77th minute, already played. So I don't see Fluminense getting back into this one. So Chelsea might just go on to win it and get into the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, this is a wrap here. Before I go, we'll thank Kennedy Idris for his time.
It's always good
on
to be
the
here.
show. And of course, we'll continue the conversation, the ones we couldn't say on air. All right, that's the show for today. We do hope you enjoyed everything we brought to you. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.